Dr. Arianne here from the Movement Paradigm. Today I'm going to talk about a hot topic around the holidays, which is sugar cravings. So we just finished Halloween, moving into Thanksgiving, and this is typically when people have a really hard time with sugar, starting from before Halloween on. And often leading through the holidays. So I wanted to speak a little bit more about that because there's some people who really suffer with some type of sugar craving or even sugar addiction all year long. So we know that as it relates to sugar cravings, that there is a dopamine response as well as other neurochemicals that can create a biochemical and neurochemical response in the body. And this is where we have kind of linked the addiction component of sugar, just as if we would be addicted to drugs or alcohol or something like that. So you can have a similar response in the brain that is responding the same way. However, there's a little bit more to sugar cravings than just that. So, of course, I always talk about the gut, and essentially what is happening is our gut bacteria is actually communicating to us that they want something. So they actually have a complete mind of their own. We have 1 trillion bacteria in our gut, and there are different types that actually love different things. So we have our Prevotella, which is what craves carbohydrates. And then we have our Bifidobacterium, which craves fiber. And Bacteroides, which craves fats. So when we are not feeding those bacteria what they want, then they get really pissed off. And they can make us feel like crap. So it's really important to have a balance of beneficial bacteria in our gut, and not necessarily too much of all one bacteria. We need a lot of actual diversity, and that's really why it's so important to have a very well-balanced diet with a lot of diversity in it, a lot of different fruits and vegetables, a lot of different, if you are eating meat products, just different nutrients and that we are getting on a regular basis, because that really helps to create the optimal microbiome for our health. And remember, 70% of our immune system is in our gut, so it's really important. So when the beneficial bacteria and all the bacteria in our gut are working in this homeostasis, then we essentially have a healthy digestive tract. We are metabolizing and digesting and absorbing nutrients the way that we should. We are really optimizing our internal gut flora to really maximize our immune health, essentially. So now, most importantly, is what can you do when you are craving sugar and carbohydrates all the time? So one of the first things that I always try to rule out or in is some type of yeast overgrowth. If someone is really having significant cravings on a regular basis, that is one thing. I provide a questionnaire, we do some blood work and testing to see if they are in fact having some type of yeast overgrowth. There are a lot of other symptoms which I can talk about separately, but that is a really big component, in addition to simply just an imbalance or a dysbiosis is what we call in the gut bacteria. I've had some patients that I've worked with just recently who have lost about 30 pounds addressing their gut health this way because they had so much inflammation. So they have done amazing, and it's really powerful. It's just really trying to understand it. So I'm going to give you some quick tips today and just ways that you can begin to think about it. Is our microbiome changes very quickly. Our turnover is actually it can be within each meal, but really within 2 to 4 days. So every meal that you have matters. So for example, if you have a McDonald's cheeseburger and French fries and a standard American diet Western meal, then you can in that meal have what we call an endotoxin or lipopolysaccharide go into your bloodstream and create essentially an inflammatory response, because it is a toxin, right? So that versus a salad and a piece of fruit and maybe some nuts are gonna have a totally different effect on your microbiome in that particular meal. So every meal counts. I want you to remember that. But in 2 to 4 days, we can have an extreme change in your gut bacteria. So if you can commit to 3 days of trying to change your essentially your microbiome, then you can start to begin to feel much better and not have the same cravings that you once did. So one is going to be to make sure that you are limiting as much sugar as possible unless it is coming from natural fruit. So any additional sugars, that means artificial sweeteners, that means all of your added sugars that you're eating, eliminate, okay? Second thing is going to be your gluten and dairy. So you're going to try to eliminate those. And again, right now I'm just talking about 3 days, okay? So the goal is gonna be a healthy, balanced, you can actually use the Mediterranean diet as a guide, but just a healthy, balanced diet for 3 days that is completely clean. Lots of fiber. That means your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts, maybe some lentils or beans. Really trying to make sure it's fiber rich. Make sure that you get enough sleep. So any type of sleep deprivation is going to have a direct correlation with your bacteria in your gut, just as stress will. So taking the time to totally de-stress, whether that's scheduling 15 minutes of relaxation, whether that is going to get a massage, whatever it might be for you that works, whether it's setting time aside to actually meditate, but taking time to de-stress and maybe get your life kind of in order so that that isn't also causing an inflammatory response. So again, we're going to have clean diet, eliminate all sugar for 3 days. Yes, it will be challenging, but after those 3 days, you will likely have less cravings, okay? You're gonna make sure that you're really managing sleep, trying to de-stress, and then lastly, but not least, is going to be to move. So all of those things, so exercise also has a positive effect on your bacteria in your gut. So we're trying to do all of these at one time for 3 days, okay? That's your challenge. And if you do that, you can really begin to have an easier journey to making health changes beyond that, okay? If you feel like your issues are a little bit more significant, feel free to email me and I can provide you with a questionnaire to see if you fall more into the category of potential yeast overgrowth. So thank you so much. As always, good luck with your 3-day challenge. I know it's the holidays, but I also know you can do it. So let me know how it goes and if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.